Good. We're now recording. So we're here with Malia. For the people watching, you'll see that in the first couple minutes, I'll be gathering some information about Mali, and then we're going to dive into the astrology very naturally and organically. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. And we're going to get started. All right, Mali, when's your birthday?
May 18th, 1973.
Mm-hmm.
Born at 12:17 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Fayetteville, Fayetteville, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. So, I pretty much always start with the same question, Malia, and it's just tell us a bit about what's happening lately.
I mean, honestly, if you look at my ascendant and what's sitting on it, that has been a nightmare. The last year and a half have been incredibly rough. It's kind of like an identity change, really. I'm right in the thick of it right now, and I don't know what's ahead of me. I know what's behind me. I don't know what's ahead of me. There are so many things that I want to do, but I haven't figured it out yet. So it's kind of like I feel like I'm in a pause.
Okay. Identity change, how so?
Things that used to bring me joy no longer bring me joy. I'm looking at career changes because I'm burnt out. I feel like I've given a whole lot and want to branch out. I've moved when I moved in 2022, 2024. I've moved twice in since 2022, and I'm looking to move again because where I'm at right now is not sitting well. It doesn't feel like home. So, and I know also that has something to do with Uranus sitting right on top of my fourth house. So, there's just a lot of questions with no answers, and I'm just like, I don't know. So yeah. Plus midlife. I'm 52 now. Yeah. So trying to going through that, and so it's just a lot.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, where do you live now?
In Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, so I guess that's not too far from Fayetteville. Have you been in Tennessee also since 2022, or did you move to other states?
I moved actually in 2022. I moved back to my hometown. It's about an hour and a half south of here. I had done that to be closer to my parents, and plus we were coming out of the COVID period. So, and I know a lot of people will sort of understand this, the Gen X generation, we are very independent and can do it on our own and that sort of thing. So being my mother's only child, I was always by myself, very independent. So COVID did not affect me at all. I was honestly quite okay with being by myself during that period. So coming out of that period, I felt like I needed to be closer to my parents because they're in their late 70s, early 80s now. But then after about a year and a half, it was like there was a switch that flipped inside of me that was like, get out of here. I've always been very sentimental about ancestral things that belong to my grandparents and this, that, and the other. I was like, I don't want any part of this anymore. In fact, I'm still getting rid of family possessions and that on to the family now. That happened probably around October, November of 2023. I mean, it was like one day I woke up and bam, I didn't want anything to do with it. And I have threatened many times, if you don't want it, I'm putting it in the front yard and I'm setting a match to it. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I still haven't figured out what that switch was. Unless it was Uranus and Taurus, Uranus actually finally hitting my sun exactly. That's the only thing that I could think that was. But I mean, even now, like this weekend, I'm visiting family and I'm giving each of the cousins pieces of my grandmother's china that was left to me because I'm like, I don't use it. I don't want it. Get rid of it. So I'm no longer, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't feel like I belong in Tennessee anymore. I feel like there's a calm somewhere else. And that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, there's many things coming up for me now.
Okay.
One of them is obviously Uranus conjoining your sun in the fourth house. So, for me, what stands out about that is that you plan to leave Tennessee. And I've understood that you've pretty much been in Tennessee so far up until now. Is that right?
Practically all my life. I lived in North Carolina in the mid 90s. I lived in Jacksonville, Florida for 6 months in the early 90s. But Tennessee has always been home. I moved back here from North Carolina in 1998. And honestly, until last year, I hadn't left the state, really.
Okay. Sorry, can I?
Go ahead.
What that immediately makes me think about is your sun in a fixed sign in the fourth house. That you've pretty much stayed in the same area the whole time. Maybe that's common for people. I don't know. And you know that the Uranus transit is a once in a lifetime conjunction. And it's an 84-year cycle or however long.
Yeah.
So that makes me think about how, okay, the curse of Tennessee is broken. I'm using that very lightheartedly. And now you're ready to move on elsewhere. So that makes me think about the Uranus to the sun, the identity change that needs to be accompanied by an environmental change. And there's a couple other things that stand out to me. This weekend, you mean tomorrow and Sunday, ostensibly?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about that. First, I just want to understand, what are the things that you're getting rid of? You said you're getting rid of family stuff, family possessions.
So I've got my grandmother's set of china that I'm giving to my eldest cousin because she was the only one. I reached out to them, to the whole family back during the summer, and I was like, who wants this? I don't want it anymore. I don't need it anymore. Who wants it? So my eldest cousin was the one that says, I'll take it. So I'm giving her the set of china. Everybody else, I try to either make them a gift every year or give them something family oriented. But this year I've got when we were growing up, my grandmother always made boiled custard for Christmas. So after we opened presents, we would have boiled custard in these beautiful crystal uh, glasses. And she would put whipped cream, homemade whipped cream on top of them, and then we would sit at the kitchen table and have boiled custard. So everybody is getting one of the boiled custard crystal glasses, along with a homemade ornament that I crocheted.
Uh-huh. Okay, boiled custard, did you say?
Yeah, it's similar to eggnog, except it doesn't have the alcohol in it. It's a Southern thing.
Okay. Okay, so that makes me think about Taurus, obviously the china that you're removing.
Mhm.
And the fact that it's going to your elder cousin that is female makes me think about the sun sitting close to Venus and Gemini in the fourth house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was a big tradition in your family. Also makes me think about the Sun Mercury conjunction Taurus. We'll get there in a bit.
Yeah.
So can you you're going tomorrow, I guess, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. And where are you going and what's happening there?
We have my family farm. There's a farmhouse, and
Huh.
so we all converge on the farm. And so tomorrow night we'll have a big dinner, and then Sunday we'll go back and we'll have a big breakfast and then do presents around the tree. Um, you talk about putting, I think there's probably 20 of us now, between the cousins and the kids and spouses and all that. So you put a whole bunch of people in a tiny little house. I mean, this is like a traditional small farmhouse, but it was my grandmother's favorite place, even though they had a huge house just down the lane. The farmhouse was my grandmother's favorite place to be because it's off in the woods and there's no cell service, and so you just go there to escape. So it's our time to get away from the world around us.
So it's a kind of retreat.
Yeah.
Okay. The farmhouse, of course, also makes me think about the sun in your fourth house, Taurus,
Mm-hmm.
the farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you said that there's no cell service there makes me think about Mercury that is combust
Mm-hmm.
in your fourth house, Taurus.
Yeah.
So, did you grow up in that farmhouse? Did you go frequently? What's your relationship to that place?
I didn't grow up down there. My parents got divorced when I was 3 months old. My dad moved back down to Lincoln County to Fayetteville. But I lived here in Nashville. So I actually grew up here in Nashville since I was 3 months old.
Aha! Okay. Okay, I want to say something about that, but go on.
Okay. But I went down there every other weekend and during the summer, and spent time with my grandparents and my dad, and so I was there quite a bit. My grandmother and I would go up there and just be. So
Uh-huh. Okay. What I want to point out. So obviously you have this T square in your chart. Okay. What really stood out to me is that your parents separated when you were 3 months old. That's pretty quickly after you were born.
Yeah.
So what I immediately notice is just notice that Mars is at 7 degrees and 3 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
whereas your Venus in the fourth house is at 7 degrees and 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So between them, they only have 9 minutes of orb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that 9 minute of orb makes me think about the 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah. And at the third month, there's the Mars squaring Venus. Your parents separate.
Yeah.
So obviously the house separates.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's when you moved to Nashville, is it?
hmm Well, not right off the bat. Um, I'm sorry, I said 3 months, 3 years, 3 years.
3 years.
We moved from Fayetteville to Nashville when I was 3 months old. They divorced when I was 3 years old. I'm sorry. I've
Uh,
been up since 12:45 last night, so I'm not firing
Well,
it.
it's totally fine because it anyway fits just the
Yeah,
fact that you changed your place of living
yeah,
almost straight away.
yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you do for work?
I manage a residential and commercial development company.
Uh-huh. What does that mean? Can you help me understand?
Um, I basically run the company. Um, I I'm HR, I'm an accountant, I do permitting, I get into the houses and work with all the subcontractors. Um, I've done it for 12 years now.
Okay, how big is the company?
Very small.
Very small.
Mhm.
So what is the role of the company exactly? Like, what do you actually do? What is the outcome of your service?
We build houses and turn around and sell them, or we will take like a primarily in the commercial side, we will buy a historic property and we will redevelop it and then lease it out to tenants. So there's also property management in there as well, with the tenant aspect of it. Um, but it's primarily development and construction.
Okay. How large is your portfolio, let's say? How many buildings do you manage?
We've In the 12 years that I've been here, we've built probably 30 houses and sold
Oh,
them. Yeah.
well,
Um, and then probably one, two, three, probably 8 commercial developments that we've completely redeveloped, like take it down to the studs and then rebuild it and then lease it out to tenants.
when you talk about commercial, are you talking about like malls or something, or what is that?
Not quite like a strip mall or anything like that. It's more like for example, we took an old historic hosiery mill and we ended up making a couple of different tenant spaces. So in that we leased one part to a coffee house and restaurant. A second
Mm,
part was uh, uh, coal-fired pizza restaurant, and then the
mm.
third spot was a retail fashion shop. Um, and then it just kind of that was our very first one. We won awards from the city for that. And then it just kind of exploded from there.
Mm. So do you buy the land that you build on?
We buy the land that we build on, and then we turn around and work with uh, banks and other agents to get the
Uh-huh.
development going, um,
Uh-huh.
and
Okay.
then end up selling it.
Okay. Okay, it's starting to make sense to me a bit more now.
Okay.
Obviously, you work with a lot of properties and land and fixed items, building. Okay.
Uh-huh.
The property development part of it, for me, is your moon in Sagittarius in the 10th.
hmm
Because think about Sag, expansion,
hmm
having a portfolio,
hmm
building something, growing something.
hmm
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, your sun in the fourth house Taurus makes me think about all of the land acquisition that you make and also that you build housing thereafter. And so that every single day, basically, you're working with land and housing. For
hmm
me, is very much your sun, Mercury, and Taurus in the
hmm
fourth house. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Except
Hmm?
I'm burnt out. Except I'm burnt out.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I still love my job and I love my boss, but it's like the last couple of years have really sort of taken a toll on me, and I'm burnt out.
Why? Why?
Just the economy, and then people, tenants struggling, and then if they
Uh-huh.
can't, that aspect of it, it's really hard.
Okay, because they can't pay you.
Sometimes, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, so you're missing payments and you're chasing people down to collect payments.
Oh yeah, and I hate that.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I hate
Um,
I hate confrontation, period.
okay, has it been especially escalated this last year?
Mm, a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um, all right. So this is what that makes me think about. Transiting Saturn in your second house Pisces has made sextile to your natal sun in Taurus in the fourth
Hmm.
and Mercury, inevitably. I'm going to put Mercury in there too. So I'm just focusing on this sextile down here. I know there's a bunch of lines that can sometimes be a little confusing, but I'm just focusing on Saturn in transit and your natal sun in Mercury. Yeah?
Hmm.
Okay. So we established that the sun Mercury is what you do for work.
Hmm.
Yeah? The Saturn in your second house makes me think about the part where you said, oh yeah, the economy, and I have to collect money from tenants, and the economy is bad, and so sometimes that part that is exhausting you. And the
Hmm.
Pisces for me is that sometimes you get the payments, sometimes you don't. You have to chase them. Maybe they make promises to you, but they don't follow the promises. Does that happen?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, that aspect of it is hard because, I am the main point of contact for all the tenants.
Ah,
And so,
okay.
yeah, that's what's hard about it, is because I have to be like, hey, look, I know you're broke, but you owe us money, so give it to us. And I just don't like doing that.
Okay, so you've had to make a lot of hard calls about
Mhm.
money.
Yeah.
Okay, do you see
Hmm.
Saturn in your second house making an exact sextile to your Sun and Mercury
Yeah.
over this period?
Yeah.
Okay.
That actually makes a lot of sense now that you've pointed it out to me, because I, for a while, I had trouble selling my other house in Fayetteville, and I attributed that to Saturn in my second house because, you know, um, and so, but what you're saying makes absolute sense as well. Um, that it's because I hate going after people for money. That makes so much sense right there. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
Saturn is my chart ruler. Normally, Saturn gets such a bad rap for being a malefic planet. But as my chart ruler, I've learned to embrace it, and I want to be like, it's not all that bad. But now I see that, now that you've said that, I'm like, oh, that makes absolute.
And you have to think as well about you trying to sell one of your properties. So
Hmm.
that's Sun Mercury in Taurus in your fourth house.
Hmm.
Trying to sell one of your properties, advertising it, putting feelers out,
Yeah.
promoting the sale. Saturn during this entire period aspecting your Sun Mercury is why you can't sell the property.
I finally did. Um,
When?
uh, I They viewed it at the end of September, and we closed on November 7th.
Uh-huh. Do you know what happened around November 7th?
Well, besides my aunt dying, I think that's when something went direct. I can't remember off.
Saturn went direct,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Saturn made the last sextile. Now he's direct. He's moving on to a different story. And so there goes the property. And there you go, moving on to the next thing thereafter.
Yeah.
But the whole period that Saturn was first direct and then retrograde, sextiling your sun Mercury, you're
Yeah.
desperately trying to sell it with no result.
Mm-hmm.
Saturn turns direct and it's finally over. Makes
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I also want to go back to your chart by itself for a moment because it just makes me think about this part where you have the Sun conjunct Mercury and Venus in Gemini in the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you're the main point of contact for all of the tenants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now that's been for 12 years, right? That you're the main point of contact. Like that's just one of your main roles, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
My boss will introduce me to people and he goes, she's my everything. I don't have an exact title. We don't believe in titles. But he says she's my everything because I am. People always come to me first because that's just the way it rolls.
Okay. That makes me think about this T-square that you have
Mhm.
pointing at Mars in Pisces,
Mhm.
that you are his everything. Because think about the nature of those mutable signs.
Mhm.
You're not just doing one job. No, you're wearing 8 hats.
Yeah.
Does that make sense when you see it that way?
Yeah, that's been my last 20 years. Even the previous company, I wore so many hats at that company, and I was also his everything.
That also makes me think about the moon being in your 10th house.
Mhm.
Your boss, the 10th house,
Mhm.
you're his everything.
Mhm.
That's the moon in the 10th being very close to your boss in your case.
Yes.
And Sagittarius also makes me think about the how your bosses are exalting you.
Mhm.
Okay. And the interesting part is that of course that's the property management, the closeness with the boss, but very specifically that it's related to your communication ability with all the tenants and everything else that you do.
Right.
I'm curious, because you're the main point of contact for the tenants, what happens in my brain is I say to myself, okay, so they probably call you whenever they have issues.
Mhm.
And they ask you, okay, what can you do? Can you fix it? Da da da. Does
Mhm.
that happen?
Yes.
Okay. Does that happen often?
Yes. I had an
Okay.
email from a tenant at 5:30 this morning.
Okay. What did that email say?
Well, that was, thank God it was easy. He was just like, I noticed you cashed one check but not the other, and I was like, well, I got them both because he does. He has two, he's renting two properties from us. So one at one location, one at another location. And I was like, I got both checks. I deposited both. I don't know. One bank is slower about clearing checks. So I let him know that was all well and good. But I mean, I get calls in the middle of the night. I get calls or emails on the weekends. I'm always on. That's why this thing right here, if I lose it or I drop it in a lake, I have a come apart because I'm like, people have to be able to get a hold of me.
Oh, your phone is
Yeah. Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. My phone.
I don't think I see this thing because I only see my
Oh,
phone.
sorry.
Okay.
My phone.
All right. I want to point
My
out.
phone.
Okay. I want to point out a couple of things about what you just told me.
Yeah.
The first thing is the T-square that points towards Mars
Mhm.
in Pisces.
Mhm.
Okay, remember, 4th and 10th house, that is your work with the tenants.
Mhm.
But Mars is in your first house.
Mhm.
You're the one to take care of it.
Mhm.
And for me, the Pisces part of it is you don't know what's going to come at you next.
Mhm. I never
People
knew.
can tell you just anything, and you're going to have to just figure out the solution on the fly. Does that
Absolutely.
make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. The other part is your Sun Mercury conjunction.
Mhm.
Because you're so, if you lose that thing, the phone,
Yes.
So you have to be a constant point of. So the Sun conjunct Mercury in Taurus makes me think about how you're fixated on the phone and need to be there, and it needs to be like good all the time
Hmm.
because that is your main role, to be the
Right.
main point of contact. Sun, Mercury.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Is this all making sense how we're doing it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I've never really thought about it this much in depth, but it absolutely makes sense.
Okay. Very good. Okay. So let me just put up some planets. What time is it for you now?
7:30, 7:34 in the morning.
Okay, so that was 2 hours ago that
Yeah.
he emailed you.
Yeah.
And you've been up for as long.
I've been up since 12:45 this morning because I woke up and couldn't go back to sleep. I haven't slept
Oh,
this whole week.
you haven't slept this whole week.
Yeah. I've been averaging about 5 hours a night, which is I I need a lot of sleep. If I don't get enough sleep, I'm a bear. And every night this week I've only gotten about 5 hours of sleep. I've woken
Okay,
up.
so you're exhausted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, the first thing that comes up for me, but I don't have the full picture yet, but it's just it's about the Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus all crowding around your sun.
Hmm.
The sun just makes me think about you being awake and also you expending energy because that's the sun doing things like
Hmm.
daytime energy. And so that you're so thrust into daytime that nighttime is not adequately making up for it makes me think about all of the heavy planets crowding around your sun.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay, so what did you do while you were up for 10 hours or whatever already?
Um, I laid in the bed for an hour hoping to go back to sleep, and that didn't work. So I got up and I had a cup of coffee and I took a shower, tried to lay back down. That didn't work. And then I came in here and sat down. Even though I'm technically off work today, I came in here and sat down and did some work. Um, and then now here we are.
Well, that's okay. Because it's a long time. So can you point towards something interesting that has happened, or maybe what were you focused on? What were you working on specifically?
I was checking email, reconciling a couple of bank accounts. I did do a little bit of Walmart shopping online because I was like, I absolutely do not want to go into a store today because I might kill somebody. So um, I did a delivery order against my better judgment, but I did.
Why is
Um,
it against your better judgment?
just so I don't have to go to the store myself and walk around and be around other people because I'm that exhausted.
Uh-huh.
When I'm this tired, people just grate on my last nerve. So I stay to myself, which is a very Taurus trait.
So it's almost like we're just approaching it. We're kind of distant from it. But what I'm hearing is the sun opposing your Saturn. Your sun translates ideal Saturn. That's right. gonna switch to.
There you are. You cut out there for a hot minute.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me again?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Where did I cut out? What was the last thing you've heard?
I don't. I don't.
Okay, that's fine. We're just gonna start somewhere new then.
Okay.
What I was pointing out to is that today the sun is at 20 degrees Sag, the transiting sun, yeah?
Right.
Which is exactly opposite your natal Saturn at 20 Gemini. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good. This is what I would like to find in the past 8 hours of your day. Okay, so try to think about it. The transiting sun is exactly opposite your Saturn. Where might you notice that?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, the sun's in the 11th, Saturn's in the 6th. I mean, aside from the headache that I've got because I haven't been sleeping well and my sinuses are all messed up, that's the only thing
Uh,
that I can think.
the sinuses, I start to feel closer to that just because you have Saturn in Gemini.
Yeah, in the
And
6th,
so that
which,
you're,
yeah,
well, in this case in the 5th, right? Because I'm using
that's right. Yeah.
Placidus. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What can you say about the work that you've been doing over the night?
Uh, I mean, not much of anything really. I haven't done a whole lot today. I was on Threads quite a bit, but doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling.
Mhm.
What do you mean by that? What impressed you about your time on Threads today?
Nothing. It was just something to keep me occupied while I was trying to, you know, because I couldn't sleep. I'm laying there in bed, just, my brain won't shut off. So, pick up the phone and scroll to knock the the continuous monologue in the head that won't stop, overthinking everything, which I'm really good at. Um, so, you pick up your phone and then you tell yourself, you really need to put the phone down. You need to delete threads.
Aha. So you
And
had
all.
that interaction with yourself, was it?
Mhm. I'm, I,
Okay.
I'm considering deleting all social media because it's kind of like, even, well, I actually commented on somebody's post yesterday. They were talking about, like, um all the spiritual people and this, that, and the other, and I commented that I didn't have a clue as to why there was so much hate and uh just division and whatnot. And then it was like another light bulb moment. I was like, yeah, it's because we sit here on our phones and we think that is an actual connection, but it's allowing us to disassociate so much. And I was like, that's exactly it. I'm okay being by myself because I've got a phone and I'm still connected to the outside world, but that's not connection at all. That's disassociative isolation.
Okay. Now I see it. Do you?
A little bit, yeah.
I'm going to explain what I see.
Okay.
The sun is transiting your 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So you're fixated on what's happening on social media and on a conversation that people are having in a public forum.
Mm-hmm.
And they're specifically talking about Sagittarius subjects. spiritual people and what's happening in the spiritual community.
Yeah.
From there, you can even pick up the fact that the Sun in Sag is applying a square to the transiting Saturn in Pisces, just because they're both Jupiter-ruled signs. So there's like the emphasis on the spiritual subject rather than any other kind of thread you might have been reading.
Correct.
But specifically at this time, the Sun is opposing your Saturn in Gemini. And you're reflecting on how we're not really having real conversations over the phone.
Yeah.
So there's for me the Saturn in Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get more precise, more intentional about how you talk to other people, because this is not it.
Right.
Not real connection. That makes me think about the fifth house. I'm
Yeah.
not really getting close to these people.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Hmm. So you want to delete social, but you haven't.
I haven't yet. I'm
Okay.
threatening, but it's coming.
It's coming. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what
I
would you
just
do
got
instead?
I've got to find some hobbies again. I mean, I've tried to pick back up crocheting and it's okay. I need to start reading physical books again. I really need to work on cutting out my screen time. So a physical
Mhm.
book, a tangible project rather than something on a screen. Um, and I know I'm not the only one feeling this right now. There's a lot of chatter about it. But you know, I've deleted socials before. I only recently opened a Facebook account again after a couple of years, only because I am considering another move again. I just have to figure that out. So
How recently did you open the Facebook account?
uh it's been less than a year.
Oh, okay. So it's been a minute. It's
Yeah.
not that recent. Okay.
Yeah, it's not that recent, no.
Because you need to move.
I don't need to move. I want to move. Like I said, I want to get out of Nashville.
Okay. Let's first start with the screen time.
Okay.
So Saturn is transiting your second house of values,
Mm-hmm.
and Saturn is stationary right now, meaning he's not really moving forward. Yes, he's direct, but his movement speed is negligible.
Right.
Okay, so that makes me think about being fixated on something, being frustrated with something, being in the period of thinking about something, thinking it through all the way.
Right.
And Saturn is stationary in exact sextile to your Mercury, 1 degree of orb just. So that makes me think about how during this period, you're thinking about, I need to do less screen time. I don't like
Mhm.
what's happening on social media. I would rather read physical books or have an actual grounded hobby like crocheting, Taurus.
Yeah.
So there for me is Saturn stationary in aspect to your Mercury. The contemplation that you're going through during this period about your use of the phone,
Mm-hmm.
specifically to go on socials. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
Okay, good. And also, again, that you created the Facebook account specifically to find a place to live. For me, it's
Not
very much
really.
also,
Well,
yeah.
not really. Not to find a place to live, to keep in contact with people when if and when I do move.
Hmm. Hmm. People who live nearby now.
Yeah, people who live by nearby now or family in my hometown, that sort of thing. Because we've forgotten as a society, for the most part, we've forgotten how to pick up the phone.
You mean to call someone?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, that's kind of, why is that relevant for you right now?
because I'm going through the same thing. I recognize that it's easier for me to pick up my phone and look on Facebook and comment on somebody's post on Facebook than actually pick up and have a conversation. And that's been sort of my easy way, except for like my mom. You know, I post on my dad's Facebook more than I actually talk to my dad. And I think that's, as a society, we're sort of waking up to that. I think maybe it's just me. I don't know. A lot of people that I've talked to feel the same way.
Hmm. You write on your dad's Facebook more than you actually speak with him, but you do speak with your family. Like that's important for you. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I talk to my mom almost every day, if not every other day.
Aha.
My stepmom, she'll call me or text me pretty much every day, if not several times a week. So yeah.
Okay, a few things. Number one, Mercury is sitting on the cusp of your fourth house.
Hmm.
So that makes me think about you being in touch with your family frequently.
Hmm.
And especially because he's in a fixed sign. So that makes me think about every day or every other day you're talking to your mom.
Hmm.
The other part is that you have Venus and Gemini in the fourth.
Hmm.
So that makes me think you like talking to your family, at least in this example that we're using right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's important for you, right? Venus, something that's valuable for you. Gemini, having conversations with your family.
Yeah.
And also doing it frequently, like that's a part of your life.
Right.
Yeah, so that also makes me think about like your Venus and Gemini opposing your moon.
Hmm.
You call your mom, was it your
My
stepmom,
stepmom.
sorry? Okay, you comment on your dad's Facebook post, so you're constantly in touch with all of them. And there's many of them. That's also what I hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's the immediate family mostly. My mom, my stepmom, those are the two that I talk to the most. Like I said, I'll comment on something that daddy posts more than I actually talk on the phone because daddy's just not a big talker. So
Oh, he's not.
no.
Interesting. Okay. Go on.
But everybody else, it's primarily a text. My brother, he only calls me if he wants something. So, that's kind of, we text quite a bit, but I won't say quite a bit. We don't, every couple of months, maybe. But, it's the women, my two moms. Yeah, I talk to them quite frequently.
Even that you have two moms, by the way, makes me think of the Venus and Gemini opposing your moon.
Hmm.
So you're close with both of them.
Very much so, yeah. And they're actually friends now.
But they weren't early on.
Oh, no. Not until I was 30.
Okay, so that was during your Saturn return.
Hmm.
Which also makes me think about, like, obviously at that time, because in order for Saturn to return, he would have to pass through your fourth house and conjoin your Venus and Gemini and oppose your moon.
Right.
So that makes me think about that time of them starting to like and talk to each other when Saturn is passing over that fourth house, Venus.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? What happened at 30 that they started to like each other?
I put my foot down and said, I'm tired of being in the middle. And it was my 30th birthday. My mom and dad hadn't been in the same room without an argument since I was 3 years old. And I finally said enough is enough. So they sat down at the table. I remember it clearly. And they talked and actually got along. And the all four of my parents, my dad and my stepmom have been married since I was 5. My mom and my stepdad have been married since I was 12. They finally all get along, and I'm no longer in the middle.
Hmm. Okay. That makes me think about your Venus and Gemini in the fourth.
Mhm.
You're the one that gets along with everyone in the family and can talk for between all of them.
Yes.
Yeah. And Saturn conjoining your Venus in Gemini and returning to his position in Gemini is when you finally put your foot down and say, you guys can talk to each other.
Hmm.
Okay. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Brilliant. The other part that intrigues me is again back to this mutable T square that you have
Hmm.
between Venus, Moon, and Mars with the fourth house included.
Hmm.
You have multiple families.
Hmm.
That makes me think about the mutability specifically.
Right.
Okay. And that you also still interface with the steps and the bloods.
Hmm.
Okay. So there's another part that you said that kind of piqued my interest.
Okay.
It's about them not being able to be in the same space and have a normal conversation. So what that tells me is there was a lot of arguing. Was there?
Yes, there was a lot of arguing, a lot of animosity. Um, Mother will still slip every once in a while, even though they're friends now. She will still slip. And I'm like, Mom, no, I don't want to hear it. What happened between you guys is between you guys. I'm not in the middle anymore. I'm 52 years old. Leave me the hell alone.
Hmm. And so what were they fight? What was it? Can you just give like an example, like a core memory example, for example?
I don't remember specific fights, but um, my father was an alcoholic. He's a Vietnam veteran, and he had, we all have our issues. I thankfully have figured out what my dad's issues are, and I think that's the thing that really makes my mother the craziest is in looks and personality. I am my daddy made over. And I think that may be part of it. But my mother, I think it's kind of some jealousy issues because she thinks that I think that my daddy has always hung the moon, like he can do no wrong. But I know that he's done wrong, and I know that he's had issues and this, that, and the other. I've just learned how to figure out the whys of the things that have happened and accept that and not hold it against him where she couldn't do that. Um, so it, I think it's a couple fold. The I think the one big thing that I remember when she got really, really mad at it. I mean, I was hurt, but looking back on it now, I understand. It was supposed to be his weekend to come get me, and he called last minute and said that he couldn't. Of course, we got out of school early that day because there was a threat of snow, and he used that as an excuse. Um, was it the truth? I don't know. Um, but I think it was those letdowns when he let me down that pissed her off. And but she still thinks that I think he hangs the moon. And I just accept him as a person. We all screw up. We all have our faults. I'm no different from anybody else.
So you were moving between houses, is that right?
Mm. He
Like
lives in my
frequently.
Well, he lives in my hometown since they got a divorce. He lives in my hometown, and I've lived in Nashville. So I grew up with my mother here in Nashville, and he moved back down to my hometown. So I would go down there every other weekend,
Mm-hmm.
hour and a half away. So
Aha.
he would have to drive up here to get me, take me back home, and then 2 days later bring me back and then drive back down there.
Okay. So that makes me think about your Venus and Gemini in the fourth. You have two homes
Mm-hmm.
that you love equally. You love your daddy, you love your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you also have two families because
Mhm.
they both remarried, as I understood.
Correct.
Okay. That Venus is opposing the moon in Sag.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to travel 1.5 hours to get to him. And obviously, the same to get back home.
Correct.
So that opposition for me is the situation, kind of how geographically, let's say.
Right.
Yeah. The T square to your Mars in Pisces in your first house makes me think how you were the one to be switching between houses.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess you were living a couple of different lives. There was a lot of movement.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you were fixed in place.
Correct.
Okay, so that for me is that T square again, the mutable T square, having a couple houses and you're the one to move around them.
Right.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So a lot of your life is centered around your family. That is what I hear.
It has been, yes.
Okay. That makes me think about the sun in your fourth house.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do business with your family?
No. Well,
Okay.
I used to on back in 2000, I think, Daddy was on a bender, and I actually moved down there again to take over the bail bonding company that that my grandfather started, and run that for my dad for a while, and then had enough and then moved back up here.
Sorry, what is a bender? Like he was on an alcoholic bender or what?
He was an alcoholic, so he got drunk, and when Daddy would get drunk, he would stay drunk for months.
That was in 2000.
I think so, yeah.
So you went to help out your father in 2000 running his company.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes me think because I'm at the transits for year 2000. You can see transiting Saturn is smack dab conjunct your sun.
Yeah.
The sun, Saturn, helping out dad, fourth house, having issues with the fam. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also thinking just about like your Mars in Pisces and squaring your Venus moon as we had discussed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And that your father was going on benders, like he was an alcoholic. So inevitably what that shows me is I guess he was also slurring.
Yeah.
He was talking funny or he was acting funny.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you in that story?
I mean, some days I was right in the thick of it. There was one particular night that he fell over in the living room floor. He was so drunk.
Okay. That makes me think about the stupor and confusion of Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
Like being what is it called when you don't have good balance? Like you're kind of woozy and you lose your
Disoriented, maybe.
yeah, that's a good word for it.
Yeah.
And how would you respond to that?
Try to get him in bed.
Uh-huh.
Really. Try to get him to lay down and go to sleep.
Okay. That makes me think about Mars in your first house, Pisces. Pisces being bedtime, sleep time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the one to try and put him to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, good. Let's just pause here for today. I'm
Okay.
gonna stop sharing my screen. Okay. How was that for you?
It was good. It made a lot of sense. things that I hadn't really thought of, you were able to kind of make sense of, to me, the whys they've, so yeah, it's been good.
Okay. Oh, let me just I'm gonna ask you a few more questions, but I'm just gonna stop recording for now because our conversation is not gonna be useful for the audience. Just a moment. Manage recording, stop recording. Okay.